In this video, we're going to continue discussing tensions in trademark doctrine, reasons why we might want to question the happy story of trademark law. Another set of tensions in trademark law concerns what happens when a trademark is not just a signifier of product source, but is rather the product itself. So consider things like status goods, designer clothing, bags, suits, watches, that kind of thing. Is it a benefit to consumers that prestige brands are able to charge a markup, even though they may not necessarily have much going for them beyond the aura of prestige, that feeling of exclusivity that comes with the name of a prestigious mark, like a Louis Vuitton, a Rolex, Armani, that kind of thing? What happens when someone makes a knockoff of one of these products, but actually sells them to a purchaser who knows that they are not getting the quote-unquote authentic brand? Should that be something trademark law should concern itself about? And as we'll see, it is something that trademark law concerns itself about. So of course, we'll talk about the doctrinal aspects of this down the line. But just for now, let's just ask, is it a problem when the person engaging in quote-unquote deception is not the seller of the product, but rather the purchaser? Because the purchaser wants to pass themselves off as being the kind of person who has an Armani suit, but doesn't want to spend the money that comes with owning an Armani suit. Should trademark law punish the poser by not letting them purchase the good in order to benefit the snobs who get to enjoy the prestige that comes with having a good that is actually defined by scarcity? Because not too many people can afford the Armani suit, the Louis Vuitton bag, the Rolex watch, what have you. Does this kind of thing serve a trademark purpose, or is it using trademark law to regulate competition in social status? And is that something trademark law should be pressed into the service of doing? A similar problem arises when we think about trademarks as a form of consumer merchandise, when the trademark isn't branding a product, but rather is itself the product. So for example, think about something like a Boston Red Sox baseball cap. Now, why do people buy Boston Red Sox baseball caps? Most of the time, of course, they buy them because, and speaking as a fan myself, because they're fans of the Boston Red Sox. Now, there may be other reasons too. Maybe it's because you're from the Boston area. Maybe it's because you're a liberal in the conservative part of the country and you want to brand yourself as a lefty. Maybe you just like the letter B on the Red Sox cap. Any number of reasons why you might want a Boston Red Sox cap, but you have to get pretty far down the list, and it's probably not even on the list, to find the idea that anyone buys the cap because they think that the Boston Red Sox are the source of quality baseball caps. They're a baseball team, not a clothing manufacturer. The team, or more accurately, the licensing entity for Major League Baseball, is simply licensing their trademark. And so the question is, should trademark law protect the team's ability to control their mark, even though the mark isn't being used as a source indicator, but is rather the product itself? We'll talk about this issue more over the course of the class, although I found over the years that my students have a very strong moral intuition that says, yes, of course, the Boston Red Sox should be able to control the merchandising market, just as the Chicago Cubs should be able to, just as the New England Patriots, the Dallas Cowboys, DePaul University, the University of Chicago, Harvard, Duke, etc., all of those entities ought to be able to control those markets. And judges, for the most part, share this intuition, and it's probably fair that the law reflect the moral intuition of people. But it's important to note that there's real tension here with the happy story of trademark law. If we think of trademark law as being there to benefit consumers, allowing trademark holders to control merchandising markets creates an artificial scarcity that is going to raise the price of the product. You may find it intuitive that the trademark holder gets to control the paraphernalia market of your favorite sports team, but note that this intuition is costing you money because it deprives you of price competition in those goods. A final set of tensions in the trademark story that I want to mention concerns the ability of trademarks to express more than brand information and the ability of others to use trademark information in expressive ways. To what extent may trademark rights reach into culture generally? In addition to being marketing tools, trademarks are cultural objects. And so here's a meaningless anecdote in that vein. Several years ago, I was preparing my slides for a trademark class. And in that particular class, I was talking about Nike. And so because I was talking about the Nike mark, I had an image of the Nike swoosh up on my computer screen. And my then 4-year-old son comes into the room and he sees what Daddy is doing, sees the Nike swoosh on the screen, and he gets all excited. And he's like, Dad, just like my shirt, just like my shirt. And he pulls up his sweater to show that he's wearing a Nike t-shirt under it with the Nike swoosh. And he hasn't the faintest idea what Nike is. He doesn't know anything about brands, but already at the age of 4, he recognizes the swoosh and has a happy emotional reaction when he sees it someplace else. Our culture is suffused with brands and trademarks, and they shape so much of our cultural discussion. So we have this question about the extent to which trademark holders may limit the way we use their symbols in everyday communications, commentary, and art. To what extent can they control the way others evoke their brands, even if some of those uses are commercial? Does it matter that trademark holders are the ones who spent a lot of money in order to get trademarks into our consciousness via advertising, slogans, sponsorships, that kind of thing?
There's only one Budweiser beer when you say Bud, you've said it all.
Can they just turn around and say, well, now that we foisted this stuff into your collective imagination, we're going to limit what you can or can't do with them outside the specific branding context? And so we're going to cover that topic in detail later on in the course. Thanks for watching.